internet from AT&T. And welcome into Globe Life Park in Arlington. The Rangers and the Twins getting set to hook up in Game 2 of this 4-game series. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Graves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us tonight for this Ranger ball game on a Friday night from Globe Life Park. Rangers and the Twins in the second game, and Rangers looking for a little redemption. And so is Cole Hamels, the starter for the Rangers.
Well, he is, Buzz. You know, the team over the last 10 days has not played very well. They've lost 7 out of 9. In Cole's last start, he only went 4 innings against the Twins in a game the Rangers lost in Minnesota. He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League this year. He's an all-star. He's 9-2. His ERA is in the top 5. His strikeouts are in the top 10. If the Rangers, needing a win, want to win tonight, they've got the right guy in the mound, and I'm sure he feels exactly what you said, Buzz. I need some redemption for the way that game went in Minnesota, and our team needs a win tonight.
Yeah, Rangers do need a win. They'll try to get back on the winning side of things against the Twins tonight. We're glad you all could join us this evening, and the Rangers and Twins going to do the best they can to honor the memory of the folks that have met such a tragic end. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T High-Speed Internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. A warm and breezy night here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the first pitch, the Rangers and the Twins, coming up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. filing in. Rangers trying to do what they can to get back on the winning side of things. Rangers have lost 5 of their last 7 ball games, 7 of the last 9, and Ian Desmond and company trying to put a W in the left-hand column tonight. Jeff Banister's ball club determined to play a little more solid baseball than they have the last couple of days, especially against the Minnesota Twins. They don't feel like they have put their best game together, and they are determined to try and do that tonight behind Cole Hamels, who is seeking to rebound from a tough start against these same Twins last Saturday. Well, you've got your ace on the mound. You've got a head of steam going offensively. And back at home where you like to play, and you play very well. Rangers have a lot going for them. The Rangers come in, as we were talking about in our pregame remarks, still the best record in the American League at 53-34. They have a 6.5 game lead over the Houston Astros in the AL West. Twins, meanwhile, come in still mired in 5th place in the Central. They are at 30-55. And they trail the Cleveland Indians by 21 full games. Here's what Tom and I were talking about, the pregame point about the Ranger record. Still best in the American League. It's tied for the best record in franchise history through 87 games. The only other time in Ranger history they have had this good a record this late in the season, 2012. And you remember 2012, they, for the 3rd consecutive year, made the postseason. 6.5 game lead in the AL West. And the Rangers trying to revive Prince Fielder. Apparently, he had just been overcome by the thought of trying.
He's back.
Oh, Prince is probably asking him, where were you guys about 2 months ago? I could have used that then. The big guy is starting to swing the bat much better. Rangers happy to have him trending upward as they take the field tonight. Getting ready to take on the Minnesota Twins. So the revived Rangers taking the field, and Tom's going to tell you about Paul Molitor's Minnesota lineup that will face Cole Hamels tonight.
Well, it's been a hot lineup against the Rangers. It starts out with all-star Eduardo Nunez, who's playing 3rd base tonight. He's been at shortstop. Robbie Grossman with a .419 on-base percentage bats 2nd. Miguel Sano is the DH. Brian Dozier is at 2nd base. Max Kepler in right field. Kennys Vargas will play 1st base and bat 6th. He had a home run last night. Danny Santana is the shortstop. Kurt Suzuki is the catcher. 18 runs knocked in his last 20 ball games. Byron Buxton is batting 9th. He's the athletic center fielder with great promise.
And that lineup will face the 32-year-old southpaw, the all-star pitcher for the Texas Rangers. That would be Cole Hamels. He is going back to his hometown to pitch in the All-Star Classic this year. Back to San Diego. This is his 18th start. He and Martin Perez, the only 2 that have reached that number of starts. 9-2 record, despite having lost the last time against these Minnesota Twins. So a good year unfolding for Cole Hamels, his first full year in a Ranger uniform. As a Ranger, he is 16-2 as a starting pitcher for the Rangers. So he has gotten it back together as far as facing these Twins. Ranger defense tonight delivered to you by Chicken Express. Zara, Desmond, and Chu left, center, and right. Profar again at first. Odor and Andrews up the middle with Beltre at 3rd. Bobby Wilson is catching tonight for Cole Hamels. Well, glad to have you all aboard with us tonight. Rangers trying to get things squared around. And Eduardo Nunez will start things off for the Minnesota Twins. Nunez, the all-star representative from the Minnesota ball club, a .321 average. And he's not an all-star because they had to have one from Minnesota. Those are all-star type numbers. Cole Hamels misses with ball 1. We are underway on a 95-degree evening. Brisk breeze blowing in from right field to 18 miles an hour or so as Cole pumps in a strike to even the count. Cole Hamels, you remember earlier, had won 12 consecutive winning starts, and kind of fallen off that pace, but still he has been quite a pitcher for the Texas Rangers. I believe I said 16-2. He's 16-3 with the Rangers since joining them last August 1st. During that time, he has the best winning percentage of any pitcher in the American League, and the 4th best among major league pitchers. Hit well to left center field. Desmond back into the shadows of the light standard, makes the grab for out number 1. Nunez skies to Ian Desmond. So all 3 All-Stars represented here tonight got in on that play. Hamels, Nunez, and Desmond.
Well, the Twins had a lot of hits in last night's game, and I'm not going to take anything away from their performance. They swung the bats, they hit the ball solidly, but they also found a lot of holes. Boy, there was a lot of ground balls that just eluded Ranger infielders, and that kind of good fortune on balls put in play just doesn't last forever. Well, maybe tonight it'll be a case of some of those ground balls go right at somebody. Cole has induced a lot of ground balls this year, a lot of ground ball double plays. That's been part of his success, and hopefully that'll translate tonight.
Yeah, I think all you have to do is talk to Sean Tolleson about balls finding holes. In 1 inning, Sean Tolleson probably gave up as many ground balls not at an infielder as I can remember.
Yeah, in a short period of time, in a matter of 6 hitters. And any one of them could have gotten him out of the inning if it was hit right at somebody for a double play.
Sean and the rest of the members of the Ranger bullpen out there. Rangers bullpen has a new member tonight, as Alex Claudio has been recalled from AAA. Chichi Gonzalez optioned back to Round Rock. A ball and 2 strikes to Grossman. Robbie, the switch hitter, up there from the right side. There's Alex, back for the 3rd time this year with the Rangers. Just missed inside, 2-2. Crowd groaning a little bit, but that our Fox tracker would tell you that Adam Amari was correct in that call.
Yep.
Hamels back to the plate. Already it looks like Cole has a little better fastball than he had Saturday.
I'd say that you were mentioning he wanted a little retribution for that game in Minnesota. I'd say he's trying to show it right here in the 1st inning. I don't know that he's 95 on our gun, 96 on the stadium gun. I don't know if he's tossed too many fastballs like that this year, velocity-wise.
And there's your umpire and crew. Bill Miller, the crew chief, down at first, and next pitch fouled off to the left. Amari, the home plate umpire, and Brian Knight at second. Tony Randazzo down at third. Yeah, there may be a little steam coming out from Cole Hamels' collar, and that's not all bad. You get a little heated every once in a while. 3-2 as Grossman able to lay off the changeup. Robbie Grossman batting second tonight, trying to get aboard. Miguel Sano, the designated hitter, is next.
Grossman's one of the tougher guys to pitch to because he doesn't expand the strike zone. You have to throw strikes to him. Grossman joined the Twins on the 20th of May. Since that time, the 35 walks he's accumulated ties for the most in Major League Baseball. I mentioned reading the lineups that his on-base percentage is close to .420. He's been a good addition for the Twins.
Another payoff pitch, got him. There's that cutter down and in. And Cole Hamels with the punch out there, 2 away. When we talk about that back foot slider, the back foot cutter is just as effective. Cole Hamels getting that ball down and in. And pretty tough for most right-handed hitters to get that ball out in front of home plate. Yeah, that make contact.
He's got a good eye at the plate, but that was a borderline pitch, close enough to where it was very, very dangerous to take it because you can be called out on it anyway.
Now 2 away. Here's Miguel Sano. He takes that first pitch just off the plate. Sano with a .234 average. And ball 2 is inside. And despite missing 27 games with a bad hamstring, Sano has 13 home runs. So you go back to last year, in just about a full year of play now, he's hit 31 bombs. 2-1. 33 RBI for the big guy. Hamels back to him. 3-1. Jeff Bannister, last night, thoroughly unenjoyable during the ball game. Jeff would tell you that was probably one of the least pleasant games he's been involved with for the Rangers. They really wanted to play well at home, and it just fell apart.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with you on that one, Buzz. I'm not sure we felt any differently than that.
Yeah.
Boy, you get back at 3:30 in the morning, go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then play 3 hours and 40 minutes and lose 10-1. That's just not a good day.
No. 3-2 pitch from Cole. A little bit low, and Sano takes the walk.
The good news is, though, you wake up the next morning after losing 10-1, and you know, just like we mentioned in the pregame show, that you still have the best record in the American League, and you still have a 6.5 game lead. And you feel confident that in spite of the last week and a half, things are going to get a lot better.
And as positive as anybody can be, Jeff Bannister would tell that to his Charges and believe it himself. Here's Brian Dozier, a .252 average. Dozier batting cleanup, and he rips that first pitch foul. It is 0-1. Dozier 3 out of 7 against Hamels. He has had a couple of runs driven in. Both those came on Saturday or I should say on Sunday in Minnesota. Last 4 games though, Dozier kind of going downhill a bit. A ball and a strike. Dozier, the top run producer the last couple of years for the Minnesota Twins. 2-1. Well, Cole tugging that cap down and trying to get that determination back there to throw quality strikes to Dozier. Sano, a modest lead at first. And he misses low and inside. 3-1. Second straight hitter. Cole Hamels has gone to a 3-1 count. If Dozier is able to extend this first inning, Max Kepler, the right fielder, who has done a lot of damage against the Rangers this year already.
It looks like Cole's got good stuff. He's just having a hard time pinpointing his pitch. He's thrown 11 strikes and 13 balls. And it's just a matter of getting the ball to go more where you want it. He's missing a little bit, but the stuff looks great.
Well, the count is full. Sano will be off and moving with the next pitch. Infield in a shift all the way around to the left for Dozier. Payoff pitch. Foul back. We'll try it again. Brian Dozier, a Mississippian, facing Cole Hamels, the San Diegan. Long look in for the left-hander. Now he's ready. Sano on the move. Payoff pitch again. Got him swing. Oop, foul tip. Got a little ahead of myself. We'll try that pitch again. That looked like a changeup that stayed up.
Just barely got a piece of it.
Had him off balance, which was the whole idea. Well, we will reset and try it one more time. Lost him. Back-to-back 2-out walks. 2 aboard for Kepler. And Doug Brocail going to make a quick visit out to the mound. Already Cole Hamels has had to use 28 pitches here in the first inning.
Well, he's probably, I got to think he's a little bit frustrated, because you'd have to think, Buzz, that he feels like he's got good stuff tonight. You know, he's throwing the ball fine. He just can't throw it where he wants to right now.
You know, sometimes you can get caught in between trying to pitch and trying to throw. Not really sure which way you need to go. And as a result, neither one really works for you.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to pitch, you're trying to make take 2 or 3 different kinds of pitches to your spots. When you're just trying to throw, you're just trying to let it go and not worry about location. Well, sometimes you get caught in that gray area in between. You're not really sure which way you need to go. Maybe Doug Brocail had a suggestion that'll get Cole back on track. Max Kepler, the hitter, a .250 average. He has hit 3 of his 7 home runs this year against the Rangers in the span of just a little bit more than a week. 1 ball and no strikes. Kepler 1 for 3 against Hamels up at Target Field last week. Sano and Dozier second and first. 1-1. Well, our Ford leaderboard talking about Max Kepler, the RBI leader since June 1st. Kepler third on that list. Encarnacion and Donaldson of the Blue Jays leading the way, and Kepler right behind him. High in the air, long run for Mazara. The wind pushing this back into the seats by about 4 rows.
That's one of those nights. If the ball goes high, it's definitely going to be blown back toward third base. If you keep it down, sometimes you can get a little bit of a assist from the wind coming in and blowing the ball back out.
Saw that, a couple of high fly balls, high pop-ups last night.
There were some outfielders doing 40-yard dashes to try to catch balls last night. If you're Byron Buxton or Ian Desmond, you have a little bit easier time doing it because of your athletic ability and your speed.
1-2 pitch. That evens the count.
Nomar had to use every ounce of speed he had last night to come in and catch one. It was funny watching him come in for that ball after he realized what was happening with the wind. He took a quick look to Desmond to see if Desmond was going to be there to catch it. When he realized he wasn't, he really had to go for it.
Got him swinging.
There we go.
Hamels with a breaking ball and the 2 walks. Other than running the pitch count up a bit, don't bother Cole Hamels. 2 left on after a half inning. Twins nothing. Rangers coming up. About the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers lineup.
Shin-Soo Choo is in right field. He'll lead off, followed by Ian Desmond again. Rougned Odor moves into the 3rd spot in the lineup. Adrian Beltre will bat cleanup, followed by the DH Prince Fielder. Jurickson Profar again will start in place of Mitch Moreland and play first base. Nomar Mazara will bat 7th in left field. Elvis is hitting 8th, and the catcher tonight is Bobby Wilson.
And that lineup, Jeff Bannister cobbled together to face the 28-year-old right-hander Kyle Gibson. Big 6'6" right-hander, listed at about 215 pounds. He'll go to work, and Shin-Soo Choo will take ball 1. Sinker, slider, and changeup. Works on a pretty good downhill play. The Rangers had reasonably good success against him when they faced off on Sunday up at Target Field. Gibson got his 2nd straight win against the Rangers, though, and his mound opponent tonight, Cole Hamels. A little bit low. 3 balls, no strikes. So Choo trying to get aboard to start things off. He will be followed by Ian Desmond. Gibson back to the plate. Ball 4 misses. LeChue, a 4-pitch walk. And Paul Molitor muttering a bit.
I don't know any manager, Buzz, that ever took a leadoff walk in stride.
Yeah, they're muttering at somebody.
Might be muttering at the umpire.
Could be. Could be. No, 1 on, nobody out. Here's Ian. 319 average, 15 home runs, 54 driven in. He and Cole Hamels, San Diego bound for the All-Star game next Tuesday night. See that right here on Fox. 1 ball, or 1 strike, I should say, to Ian. Desmond took an 0 for 2 against Gibson on Saturday. Keep wanting to say Saturday. It was Sunday that they faced off. Out of play, 0-2 now. Desmond last night, a rarity for him at home, especially. He took an 0 for 2 in that ball game. Did have a couple of walks. Even though he did not get a hit, he's been getting on base. He's tied for the league lead in home batting average with 373 mark here at Globe Life Park. Down the right side, it's going to slice back into the seats. And the count remains 0-2. Nice crowd, still filing into Globe Life Park. Last night, almost 44,000 on hand. One of the best Thursday night crowds in the history of Globe Life Park in Arlington. Folks went away disappointed last night, and Rangers will try and rectify that here this evening. Jew, modest lead at first. Gibson will look over his left shoulder. And time called. Ian Desmond with that 319 average, good for 8th in the American League overall. Way inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Gibson pitched a good game against the Rangers in Minnesota. Good assortment of pitches. Good sinker. Jammed a lot of hitters with it. Ground ball pitchers. Got a pretty good changeup. Breaking ball to go along with it. Had a good year for them last year. He was 11 and 11 with a 384 earned run average.
Got him swinging. Good breaking ball there. Well, the strikeout has been gone. 1 gone for Rougned Odor. He kind of reminds me. I was thinking he reminded me of it. It didn't pop into my head until just a few seconds ago. That breaking ball, especially in the good sinker, kind of a younger version of Doug Fister. Kind of the same tall guy that works downhill pretty well and has a good sinking fastball. Not really overpowering, but enough of a fastball to keep you off the breaking ball, too.
Yeah, for sure. He missed quite a bit of time this year with a right shoulder strain, so this is only his 10th start.
Well, here's Rougned. Odor had 2 of the 4 Ranger hits last night. Had his 2nd triple of the year. Scored in the 9th inning. The only run the Rangers were able to put across home plate. Team leader with those 16 home runs. He has driven in 43. Jew inching off the bag at first. Good shot right down the right field line from our camera in the wedgie down there in right field. Gives you a good idea what the right fielder, what the first baseman all see. Gibson a check. A drive to left center field. That ball's hit well. Going back, Buxton at the track. It's off his glove. It rolls along the wall. Choo being waved around third. He is going to score into third with the RBI triple. Rougned Odor, the Rangers lead it 1-0.
Hopefully Buxton is okay. He really smashed into the wall. You know, you had a chance to watch him enough to know with his speed and the jump he gets, his athletic ability, if it stays in the park, you're almost surprised if he doesn't catch it. But he had to go a long way for that ball. It carried, he got near the wall, smashed into the wall, and wasn't able to come up with the ball. Goes off the side of his glove. He actually got to the ball and didn't catch it, which I think in itself is a little bit surprising.
Well, that pretty good jarring blow to. It looked like Tom Rath the last second that Buxton looked down to check himself where he was on the track.
Yeah, I think the wall came into play on that. And he doesn't play that deep, so he had a long way to go. But I think in the back of his mind, he was a little bit concerned about the wall.
Paul Molitor and the Twins trainer out there to check on their prized center fielder. Rookie sensation. A jolt as that's padding only in name. When you're going that fast, you run into it. Probably doesn't feel like padding.
Yeah, if you go up and kind of punch that padding, it's still going to hurt your hand a little bit. It's not like it's soft foam. It's hard, and it's better than running into a brick wall or a wooden wall. But you can still be jarred if you go into it as fast as he did, depending on how you hit it with your shoulder. I still, every time I think of someone running into the wall, I think of Inky back in the old ballpark.
Yeah.
When he was going after that ball, he was going as hard as he could, and he hit that wall. His knees hit the wall, his stomach hit the wall, and his face hit the wall. And he just bounced right back up, boy. Buxton is obviously hurt. Tried to get up and couldn't.
You know, you saw the pieces of his sunglasses laying around the track out there after the collision. They'd broken the sunglasses, and he's trying to move around, and all of a sudden couldn't sustain his own weight.
Appears to be his right leg.
Now Kevin Harmon, the Ranger trainer, going to go out and lend some support. Yeah, it looks like you're looking at his right knee. They hate to see something like that happen.
You hate to see anybody hurt in a ball game. Buxton is obviously their gem, their young player that they expect to become an all-star someday, with tremendous athletic ability, and all he needs is the reps out there, on-the-job training, get his at-bats, make his plays, and watch him get better and better. And so it's very unfortunate to see any player hurt, especially when it's a young player like Buxton.
And one of the EMTs here in the ballpark going to go out and lend his expertise. Might be a little bit of a concussion problem too, the way he hit that wall.
Yeah, he hit it hard.
He hit his head. Trying to put weight on that right leg, and he just can't do it. And very, very unstable, and that's really unfortunate. They got the card out there now for him, and I would imagine they'd take him in and take him immediately to the x-ray. There's x-ray facilities here at Globe Life Park, and look at that. Maybe send him over to the hospital here in Arlington if further attention is needed. And as soon as we get information that we can pass along to you, we will do that about Buxton's condition. Byron Buxton on the third play of the game, third hitter of the game, trying to make a long run for a catch against Rougned Odor, and couldn't get it done. That right knee looks to be problematic for him. So, nice round of applause as he is taken off the field. And Rougned Odor down at third base, having just driven in his 44th run of the year and his second triple in as many nights.
If you're scoring at home, I think that's Eddie Rosario that's going out to center field. That's it. Yep, Eddie Rosario.
That would be correct. So Rosario will take over defensively. He'll hit Bucks number 9 spot in the batting order. Oh, an unfortunate turn of events for the Minnesota Twins. The Rangers out on top, 1-0 on Rougned Odor's RBI triple. He is at third. Still just 1 out, and Adrian Beltre coming to the plate.
The Rangers third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Well, the Twins will play the infield back with 1 out. Beltre, a .278 average, 12 home runs, and 53 RBI. 1 ball, no strikes. He's been able to lay off that breaking ball. Beltre 0 for 2 last night. He was on base a couple of times, though, with a walk and a hit by pitch. One and one. By going hitless last night, he has not had a hit now in the last 3 ball games. 0 for 8. That's the first time all year that he has gone more than 2 straight games without a base hit. 1 and 2. Beltre still up among the league leaders in these situations. A .367 average with runners in scoring position. And he's got Rougned just 90 feet away. Still 1 and 2. We'll take a look at the Twins defense. It has changed, obviously. Eddie Rosario in center in place of Buxton. He's flanked by Robbie Grossman in left and Max Kepler in right. Vargas and Dozier on the right side, Santana and Nunez on the left with Suzuki catching. So still a ball and 2 strikes. Now 2 and 2. Now there are your leaders in the American League, runners in scoring position. Paulo Orlando at .417. He's leading the pack with Kansas City. Adrian down there 4th after Crisp and Escobar. Elvis right behind Adrian. Two and 2 as Gibson checks Odor at third. Got him swinging. No, 2 strikeouts in the inning, 2 away. Prince Fielder will be next.
Striking out Adrian in that situation tells you all you need to know about Kyle Gibson. He's got tough stuff to hit. And he gave him a little bit of everything in that bat. Good movement. That was a changeup that nosedived down and in to a guy that's very difficult to strike out, especially in that situation. Just have to tip your hat to Gibson. He made some nice pitches. Fastball in for a strike, a good breaking ball, and then a very tough changeup.
Pitch to Fielder just off the outer edge. 1 ball and no strikes. Prince hitting at .217. Last 19 ball games, though, he has shown a lot of signs of coming to life. 3 home runs, 9 driven in at .288 average. Line drive, base hit right field, and Fielder gets it done. Odor trots down the line, steps on home plate, and the Rangers lead it 2-0.
Well, he threw off-speed pitches to Prince in that at bat. He started him off with a changeup. He got a good look at it. It wasn't a strike. Came back with a 3rd pitch, another changeup. He threw it for a strike, and Prince was right on it. That one probably didn't get as far down and away as he wanted. You can see the first pitch was farther outside. That was a changeup, and Prince ripped it. Big 2-out hit after the big strikeout with 1 out. Rangers pick up that 2nd run.
Now the Rangers as a team 2nd in baseball with a team batting average with runners in scoring position of .292. They've hit almost .340 in the last couple of weeks in those situations. No, Fielder gets the base knock. He is at first. Jurickson Profar now hitting at .317. Switch hitter up there from the left side, takes a little bit low, and it's 1-1. Profar getting his 5th straight start at first base in place of the injured Mitch Moreland. Make that his 6th straight start. 2-1. Mitch and the Rangers thought that he'd be able to go tonight, but with the All-Star break coming up, he's use a little extra caution. Check swing, 3-1 the count. Well, Profar trying to extend this first inning. Nomar Mazara is in that on-deck circle. Pulled in the hole, base hit. We've seen this before, like last night from the Twins.
Well, you're right, Buzz. It was a good hitter's count. He got a fastball, and he hit it solidly. And then the key is you hit it solid on the ground to find a hole. And we saw that last night. And hopefully we're going to see it from the guys in white tonight.
So 3 hits and a walk here in the first inning. Rangers now have 2 aboard, 2 in, and 2 out. Erickson with an important base hit. He took an 0 for 4 last night. Here's Mazara. Nomar at .284 for the season. 0-1. 11 home runs, 36 driven in. Mazara still leading American League rookies in most of the important offensive categories. Gets fisted here. Vargas on to Gibson covering. That will do it. But the Rangers put 2 on the board. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and leave 2. After 1, Rangers on top 2-0 on Fox Sports Southwest. Baseball's biggest summer event. Don't miss baseball's biggest stars at the 87th All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. That's coming up on July 12th, and it's only on Fox. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Central. We have 3 men on the field here tonight who will be in that All-Star Game. Cole Hamels, one of the 2 Ranger representatives. He and the center fielder Ian Desmond will be going to San Diego, along with Eduardo Nunez for the Twins. Kenys Vargas leading things off, and very quickly Cole Hamels on top of the count at 0-2. Vargas had 1 at bat last night, hit a home run of Jared Hoying. Hoying came in and pitched an inning, and Vargas took him deep. He drives this one to right center. Desmond is pulling up, and that ball is right off the top of the wall. He has a little trouble picking it up, and into second is Vargas with a line drive right off the top of the wall in deepest right center field.
Well, Cole got ahead 0-2. And didn't look like a terrible pitch, but might not have been exactly what he wanted. Let's see. Well, it definitely didn't get in where he wanted it. You can see the second pitch was a cutter inside corner. The 0-2 pitch was too good a pitch to hit. Not where he wanted to throw it. Fortunately, it didn't go out of the ballpark. He had a chance to pitch around it. And fortunately for Ian, it was Vargas running. He ended up at second.
Well, Vargas' second double of the year. He is aboard to start things off, and Danny Santana, the shortstop, tries to bunt and bunts it back to the screen. Santana, a switch hitter. .256 average overall with a couple of home runs and 12 driven in. This is 49th game of the year for the Twins. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Cole now approaching 40 pitches, and we'll kind of keep an eye on that as the game goes on and see if on a warm evening if that long first inning has any drawn out effects. There's a strike to make it 1-2. Santana didn't think so. But Adam Amari said it was a strike, and he's the one that counts.
It doesn't matter what the hitter thinks, does it? Or the pitcher.
No. Fox Tracks didn't think so either, but that one doesn't matter either. Santana slices that one down the right field line, but it goes back and out of play. There's a happy fan. Got a foul ball. Another catch and release. Catch and release a couple times. Still 1-2.
I just want to make a shout out to a friend, Mike Brumley. Mike was a catcher for the Washington Senators back in 1964 and 1966. Mike lives in the area. He's facing some serious surgery on July 20th at Baylor Grapevine. Mike, if you're watching, everyone with the Rangers wishes you the best in that surgery. Mike's son Mike was a great player at the University of Texas. Big league ball player as well. Well, good luck with the surgery, Mike. We're thinking about you.
Now Santana back in after fouling off a couple of Cole Hamels pitches. Still 1-2 the count with Vargas at second. Call strike 3. Hamels a couple of cutters inside to Santana that he fouled off, and then a two-seam fastball that ran back to the corner. And with 1 away, let's say hello to Jim Knox.
I appreciate it, Buzz. What a crowd tonight. University Days continues. It is Texas A&M night. A lot of Aggies whooping up. We have the Gilman family right here in Arlington. You got a message for the Buechels. What's this about?
Yeah, well, this is the Gilman family saying that the Aggies are behind the Buechels. Woohoo!
Why is that?
Well, that's because we love the Buechels. We're from Arlington. We've gone to school with them, and we just think they're the best. So we want to wish Steve the best and coaching the Rangers, and Shane the best at the university he's going to.
Great Aggie right there. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of it. Oh, here we go. Buzz,
She couldn't even say the name of Shane's school. So that just goes to show you friendship that goes above college allegiances.
At that university he's going to.
Probably helps that those two universities don't play each other anymore.
Yeah. Kurt Suzuki at the plate, ahead of the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Off the end of the bat, down the left field line, long run for Mazara, and it is pushed by the wind.
Boy,
fortunately.
I thought that was trouble about halfway to the ground. Changeup is a little bit out in front of it. Unfortunately, that ball's going from right to left all the way. And I don't think if it was fair that Nomar would have gotten to it.
No, 2-1 now. Good fastball inside. Suzuki fights it off. 2-2. Suzuki in a pretty good run as far as driving in runs. And he's had good success against Cole Hamels. And 4 for 9 would tell you so. Suzuki a .287 average. He's in the last 20 ball games, he has driven in 18 runs. So you have to be careful in run producing situations like this. Left center field, Desmond and Mazara. Desmond can't get it off his glove to the wall. Vargas around third will score on a double by Suzuki. And another RBI for the Twins catcher. It makes it a 2-1 Ranger lead.
They put a charge in that ball. He's got a little bit of power. He's hit 5 home runs this year. Looked like a curveball that just stayed up and right in the middle of the plate. Never got down exactly where Cole wanted that pitch to be. And so to a very hot hitter, last 25 games, a .376 hitter. Wow, what a great shot. He almost made a highlight play of the year right there. Great try. But to a hot hitter, that curveball in that location is a pretty good pitch to hit.
Well, the Ranger lead cut in half now. Twins on the board, trailing 2-1, and Eddie Rosario, who was not scheduled to be in the lineup tonight, but he took the place of the injured Byron Buxton. Rosario a .205 average. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Rosario, 3 home runs, 11 driven in. Twins as a team this year, 11th in the American League with a .250 batting average. 2-1. And they're 10th in the league with runs scored, .367. But as we told you before, they have averaged almost 9 runs a game against the Rangers this year. They have been putting it to the Ranger pitching staff. 3-1.
Cole's already at 52 pitches, only 1 out in the 2nd inning. This can't be too many times in his career where he's been at this pitch count at this stage of the game.
No, not too dissimilar from the outing that he had against the Twins at Target Field last week. 3-1 or 3-2. Not sure he ever got comfortable working to them. Ended up going into the 5th inning, but did not get an out in the 5th. Full count to Rosario with 1 out. Elvis thought about going to third, but thought better of it. Throws out Rosario. On to third goes Suzuki. He's there with 2 outs for Eduardo Nunez.
Now batting third baseman Eduardo Nunez.
He just didn't have a real good angle with the runner getting closer to third. You don't want to take a chance. You want to get that 2nd out for sure. Don't take any chances. You don't make the play at third for whatever reason, and then Twins have a chance for a big inning. A better chance for a big inning.
A 2 away. Nunez steps in. He began things by flying out to reasonably deep center field. High chopper. Nobody covering first as Profar went for the ball instead of staying there. In to score Suzuki. It's an infield single for Nunez, and we are tied at 2.
Yeah, that's just a mistake by a kid that's never played much first base. You know, if he catches that ball, he's got to realize he's just going to have to hold on to the ball too, because there's going to be nobody at first base. When the ball's hitting that direction, that's just not the first baseman's ball. And he's overeager to make a play, kind of going after it like maybe he's a shortstop. But even if he gets that ball, there's no one to cover first base because Cole's right there in front of the ball too. That's too bad because he had to play at first.
So deadlocked at 2 now. Here's Robbie Grossman. Fair ball to Beltre, and that will do it. Twins come back though to tie it. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and lead 1 after 1.5. Rangers 2, Twins 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, the Twins were able to tie it up last half inning, and between innings, after the play that Rougned Odor made, or I should say that Jurickson Profar made, a little bit of discussion on the Ranger bench, and
well, no one feels worse than Jurickson.
Yeah.
You know, he went after a ball that a first baseman has no business going after, and he knows it. He knew it the minute it happened, and he feels terrible. Rangers gave up a run, and Boo is just talking to him now, telling him, hey, look, you know you haven't played over there very much. You just keep giving it all you've got. Put that one behind you. Forget about it. We're all behind you.
Yep.
Just trying to make them feel better.
File that in the memory bank.
Yep. You can't erase it. It happened. And now just go on from there. But he's got a lot of support from his teammates and his coaches.
And Elvis Andrus leading things off, a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Elvis having a quality offensive year. He takes strike 2. Andrus at 289, 3 home runs, 38 driven in. And the RBI is what has impressed me for Elvis so far this year. Just a little over half the season. He's on a pace to get more, drive in more runs than he ever has in his major league career. Off the end of the bat foul. Matter of fact, Elvis has a better at-bat per RBI ratio than he's ever had. About 7.5 at-bats per run driven in. That's almost 2 at-bats less than he's ever had before. He's gone on strikes here. Gibson works that ball down and in to great effect.
Yeah, he's got good movement on his pitches.
3rd strikeout for the right-hander.
Number 6.
Our Kubota Power Stats talking about Kyle Gibson. This season, his ERA in the first inning alone is 11. After that, it's 3.53, so you need to get him early, obviously. 2 earned runs allowed in the first tonight. Fits right into that.
Pretty appropriate
scenario.
Power stat right there.
Certainly is.
He walked the leadoff hitter and gave up a triple. And since that time, he's made some good pitches.
Bobby Wilson taking a strike.
Not overpowering as far as velocity goes. He makes up for it with location and movement.
Bobby, a 248 average with the Rangers. 237 if you mix in his at-bats with the Tigers also.
And his changeup is definitely a force.
Now the 0-2.
Over the years, over a lot of years, the Twins seem to favor this type of pitcher. I can't name them all, but Brad Radke comes to mind. You know, a pitcher with a good assortment of pitches, all 4 of the primary pitches, excellent control, keep your pitch count down, really knows how to pitch. And it's probably a generalization, but it seems like they favor that type of a pitcher. A pitcher like Gibson, Tyler Duffy last night, maybe more than the raw talent with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that you have to refine all the other parts of his game.
Back-to-back strikeouts, 4 in the evening.
You could see the movement on that changeup. It's been a great pitch for him. It's what he struck out Adrian with. It's what he got Elvis with. And that's what he gets Bobby Wilson with right there.
Pretty good downward action. So 4 strikeouts for Gibson in the first 9 hitters that he's faced. Now back to the top of the order. Shin-Soo Choo, who walked and scored. Walked as he led off the ball game. The only walk that Gibson has allowed tonight. Ball 1. Tom and I would like to pass along our sincere condolences, our thoughts and prayers for all those affected by the tragic events last night and that have occurred the last several days in our country. Bless all of you who were affected by it, and certainly hope that all of you can heal and in your grief know that we're all thinking about you, and bless those who have sacrificed so much for our freedoms in this country.
Well said, Buzz. Thank you.
2-1 the count to Choo. Now 2-2. Runs are even at 2 in this ball game. The hits are even at 3. Rangers with the bases empty, 2 outs here in the second. Inside, almost hit it. Well, full count. Choo trying to get aboard with 2 outs. Ian Desmond, the Rangers center fielder, hopes to get a chance to face Kyle Gibson here in this inning. Right-hander rocks the payoff pitch. Got him swinging. There's that changeup again.
Man.
3 consecutive strikeouts. Struck out the side in order. We have finished 2 at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers 2 and the Twins 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
In Arlington, where the Rangers called on a Super Bowl MVP to toss the first pitch tonight. Way you threw it, though. It looks like you could have a career in baseball if you really wanted to. How'd you feel?
I felt pretty good. I just wanted to get it to home plate. I really want to bounce it or, go far left or far right. I just wanted to get it there smooth, so I just went with the football throw.
He said if his buddy 50 Cent gave him advice, it'd be, don't do what I did. And you didn't. You made it across the plate. So you have that on him, right?
Yeah, I got it to the plate. I made sure that I didn't hit anybody with it. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Be honest, how much preparation went into that? I saw you warming up in the tunnel.
I did. I warmed up. I did about 6 or 7 throws in the tunnel. And I was feeling pretty good with it, so I, came out and, let it go.
I think the best part of tonight is, like, again, you have a Super Bowl MVP, like, greatest Aggie ever, and he's like, oh my God, Pudge Rodriguez is here. In fact, he's sitting behind us. How cool is that? You grew up watching him, you and your family, and this is a cool moment for you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. When he walked into the suite, my dad, he kind of like tried to run away, and I was like, nah, Dad, can we get a picture? His eyes were tearing up and stuff. Huge fan of everybody here in Texas, the Rangers, the Stars, the Mavericks, everybody. So it was great to meet Pudge.
He's trying to video bomb you right now, by the way. Pudge says he's the best. So you have one of the greatest telling you.
I'm a huge fan. Like I've been a huge fan since I was just a little pup. It's definitely amazing.
So this must have been a cool moment to be asked to do something, and on such an emotional night, nonetheless, here at the ballpark, you got to be a highlight for so many here tonight, grieving the tragedy of last night. How cool was that for you?
It was amazing. With all the tragedy that we got going on here in Dallas to come in here and rise above it all, it's been pretty amazing. It's a true blessing.
Where and when did you find out the news, or did you learn of the events last night? What do you remember your immediate reaction being?
I was on a plane. I was on a plane coming from LA to Denver, and right when I landed, I started getting phone calls and text messages, and I was like, what's going on? And immediately I was like disbelief. I was like, this can't be Dallas. This can't be my hometown. And immediately after that, it was just sadness for everybody that was involved. It's a truly tragic situation.
Well, you were part of the outlet here tonight for this crowd, and we thank you for all that you've done for the community here tonight, Vaughn. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, guys. Gig 'em.
And go Rangers.
All right, here. Thank you very much. I tell you what, Cole Hamels just had one of the longest broken bat against the pitchers that I've ever seen. Miguel Sano got sawed off. That bat had to go 130, 140 feet straight out towards center field.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of distance very often. He's got to be a strong guy.
See if we can get, I think StatCast would have the distance on this. Well, I went a little towards shortstop. Elvis did have a clean play on it. Nice play by Ian Desmond, by the way. I was paying attention to the bat where that thing ended up. A strike to Brian Dozier. It is 1-1. Dozier drew a walk in the first inning. The second of the back-to-back passes that Cole gave up. Beltre, a strike to Profar. That is out number 2, and Max Kepler's coming up, but first we're going to send it over to Rick Renner, who has a Chevy game break for us. All right, Rick, thank you.
So the Rangers are not the only team struggling a little bit.
True.
Only really good team struggling right now. Look at the Cubs.
They've been, Cubs have been on a downward trend for longer than the Rangers have.
Yeah.
Cubs have been on for about 3 weeks now where they've been struggling, scuffling.
They're 19 games over 500 right now, just like the Rangers. The team that's got the best record, it looks like San Francisco. And even San Francisco's been 5-5 the last 10 games. Hot teams, Toronto, 8 out of 10. And Houston, 7 out of 10, 2 hot teams.
3-0 to Kepler.
Well, it's a struggle for Cole tonight.
Yeah, it is. Matter of fact, he's having more of a struggle tonight, I think, than he had against the Twins on Sunday. And a little bit low. A 4-pitch walk puts Kepler aboard. Third walk for Cole Hamels. Now he'll face Kenny Vargas.
Yeah, in May, Cole had 6 starts. He was 4-0 with a 1.51 ERA. Almost impeccable for 6 starts in that month. But July has not gotten off to the same kind of start. His first start in July was at Minnesota, 4 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs. His second start in July is against the Twins here, and so far it's been a struggle as well.
Well, Vargas hit a double off the deepest part of the wall in right center. His first time up. Came within inches of hitting it out.
Cole hasn't given up a home run in his last 4 starts coming into this game. That was pretty close to being one tonight.
Beltre will cut that off. Set and throw. He got him. No, the walk, no damage. One left aboard. We played through 2.5. It's the Rangers 2, the Twins 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, Ian Desmond stepping in to start things off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the third inning. Rangers and Twins tied at 2. Desmond a strikeout in the first inning. Gibson has that strikeout ball going tonight. He has struck out 5 of the first 10 that he has faced. Up the middle, shortstop Santana gets Desmond by a half step. One gone.
Yeah, the power pitch for him might have been his changeup. A good number of those strikeouts with it by keeping it down, making a move, and fooling the hitter. Pretty much the name of the game for a changeup. Slick play by Santana, who's playing shortstop tonight. He just moved over to third.
The Twins are pretty good shape shortstop-wise. They got 2 or 3 guys who can play.
They've got a lot of versatility.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of guys that can play all sorts of different positions.
Rosario can play the infield if you need for him to, and a little better in the outfield. But Escobar, Rougned takes strike 1. Odor blasted a triple to left center field, and Byron Buxton, the center fielder at that time, got to the ball on the dead run. Couldn't make the catch, and his collision with a wall drove him out of the game. Odor ended up with the RBI triple in the first. A ball and a strike to him. Rougned with that hit now at 272 with the average. Two and one. Well, our TXU Energy power player to watch tonight. That man right there in your screen, Rougned Odor, since June 6th. A 279 average with 9 home runs. That's tied for 4th in the American League in that time frame, and 19 RBI. Odor, who's the team leader for the Rangers with 16 home runs. One more than Ian Desmond. 3-1 pitch to him. That ball's ripped to right field and deep. If it's fair, it's gone. Foul.
Oh, man.
Just foul.
Well, that changeup on a 3-1 pitch generally fools a hitter, but it didn't fool Ruby. He was right on it. Just got out in front of it. Look how close that is.
Wow. Just by that much. Oh, 3-2 now. Odor back to the plate. Gibson's payoff pitch. That ball's ripped. That's not going to be a foul ball. Kepler over to try and cut it off. Odor has to put the brakes on. Now he dives back into first. But Odor 2 for 2, and he's hit a couple of bullets. 3 if you count the foul ball.
Yeah, when you look at how tough Gibson has been on almost every other hitter, Rigno's been right on everything he's thrown. That's not a bad pitch. It's down and in, a slider on a 3. Sort of a 3-1 changeup and a 3-2 slider. Pretty good pitches, and he's ripped both of them. And Kepler, good athlete out in right field. He got over, cut it off with a strong throw. See why the Twins are pretty high on, very high on Kepler as a developing player.
And for a guy who didn't grow up playing baseball, he's got a pretty good sense about the game on him.
Yeah, he does.
Well, Odor with his second hit of the night. He is aboard with 1 out. And Adrian Beltre will step in. Beltre went down swinging in the first inning. Adrian a 277 average. Gibson back to him with strike 1. Odor's, whoa, wait a minute here. I gotta hurry back. Odor eyeing Gibson as he sets. 1 ball and 1 strike to Beltre. Now Suzuki will go out and have a chat with the 28-year-old right-hander. Mentioned Adrian hitless in 3 straight games. He has just gone 3 for his last 21. Those over his last 7 ball games. It qualifies as a pretty good offensive downturn for Adrian. And all that means is 1 more at bat closer to really busting out of it. And when he busts out, a lot of pitchers around the league start paying the price. Beltre has hit just below 300 in the 20 games since coming back from his 7-day hiatus. Sat out 7 games with that tight hamstring. One ball and 1 strike. There goes Odor. The pitch is ripped to left. A base hit. Rubnev will just keep on going around the third. He's going to stop there. Beltre, a big turn at first. Since nobody's at first, he can go as far as he wants.
Another nice play by an outfielder on that ball. Once it was hit, you're almost thinking double, and will Ruby be able to score? Well, Grossman got over there quickly. Easily kept Ruby from scoring. Then wheels and fires it to second base to keep Adrian from getting a double.
Designated hitter, Prince Fielder.
Well, I know Grossman didn't come up in the Twins organization, but the Twins organization as a whole has always had the reputation of demanding good fundamentals from their players.
Yep.
And, you know, when infielders or outfielders, they've always had guys that knew how to play the game the proper way.
Yeah, you remember everybody saying when Tom Kelly was managing and they had all those good teams, they played the game the right way.
Yep.
They hit the cutoff man. They make the fundamental plays. They don't beat themselves. Their pitchers throw strikes. And I'm sure that they've tried to maintain that same type of philosophy. Terry Ryan is their outstanding general manager. He's been there all through those great years. Continues to be there, and I'm sure that's part of his philosophy.
Prince backed off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Paul Molitor had enough of an experience with the Twins as a player that, and I know he appreciates that. He really values that part of the game. One of the things that I'm sure got him to take the job as the Twins manager. He would be inheriting that kind of philosophy. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Prince.
And see if he throws Prince a changeup in this at bat. Prince had a couple of changeups, and that's what he ripped for a 2-out RBI single in the first inning.
Kurt Suzuki, the veteran catcher, flashing the signs out. He said he wants that sinker to Fielder. And the pitch is low. It's 3-1. Now you've got yourself in a little bit of a predicament with Fielder up there. You got runners at the corners, 1 out. Fielder ahead of the count, 3-1. You've got Jurickson Profar in the on-deck circle. He is a switch hitter. And the crowd fortified by the Aggie presence getting into it. 3-1 with 1 out. Low ball 4. That will load him up for Profar. Prince Fielder not expanding his strike zone on 3-1.
Both pitchers working hard in this game. His pitch count is up there after 3 innings. And Gibson's zeroing in on 60 pitches himself here in the 3rd inning. He only has 1 out. Jurickson had a good at-bat his first time up. And a hard ground ball single between first and second.
Neil Allen, the pitching coach, back after an absence of 6 weeks, out there to kind of calm things down and get everything redirected for Kyle Gibson. So the base is full of Rangers. Odor, Beltre, and Fielder. 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Profar had a single to right field his first time. Jurickson now at 322 with the average. Chance here to get the Rangers on top. Ball 1. Changeup stayed high. Profar has been on a pretty good tear as far as driving in runs. Had 9 RBI in his last 12 ball games. One ball and 1 strike.
Well, you see the changeup twice.
That's the same pitch that Profar hit into a double play last night in the 1st inning. It was the first pitch. And off speed. 1-2. Gibson in front of the count. Profar in a fight-off mode. Fight off that tough pitch and hope you get one in the hitting zone. The 1-2. Got him swinging. Breaking ball. Profar kind of a feeble wave at it. 6th strikeout for Gibson. There are 2 gone now for Nomar Mazara. Mazara is stepping up. We'll take a look at tonight. Lowe's home field advantage, presented by Lowe's. Mazara at home this season, a .324 average. That's best among major league rookies. 3 home runs and 16 driven in. Well, Mazara steps in. Nomar grounded out to first, his first time to the plate. 1-0. Rangers tonight already have 1 big 2-out run scoring hit. That was from Prince Fielder in the 1st inning. They could use another one from Nomar Mazara right here. Odor at 3rd. He's trailed by Beltre and Fielder at 2nd and 1st. Up the middle, but right to the shortstop Santana. He steps on 2nd, and that is the end of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 3 left for the Rangers. After 3, we are tied at 2. Folks, when the Rangers take on the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night, the first 7,500 kids 13 and under will be treated to a Shin-Soo Choo tin lunchbox. That's courtesy of Medical City Children's Hospital. Get your tickets for tomorrow night's game by logging on to TexasRangers.com. Twins coming to bat here in the top of the fourth inning, a 2-2 ball game. Danny Santana swings over the first pitch from Cole Hamels. 0-1. Santana caught looking at a third strike in the second inning. Hamels in front of the count very quickly at 0-2. Cole now with 74 pitches as he works to Santana starting off this fourth inning. Santana, Suzuki, and Rosario, the first three Twins, to face Hamels here in the fourth. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Cole in 75 pitches, 44 strikes, 31 balls. Got him on the fist. We'll leave the count and 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hamels tonight has walked 3. He has struck out 3. Been kind of an uneven performance for the Ranger left-hander. Another 1-2 pitch. Popped it way up in the air behind the plate. That'll be back into the seats. Bobby Wilson back to take a peek, but he runs out of room. Still 1-2. Santana with a 4-game hitting streak on the line here tonight. He's gone 7 for 17 in those 4 games. Another foul out of play.
Been a lot of foul balls tonight. The Twins have spoiled a lot of pitches. Maybe something you see with a hot team. They don't swing and miss as much.
Yep.
Might not do anything with it, but they hang in there, extend the at-bat. Like that. There's
like that.
Really good changeup. Almost a swing and miss, but not quite. He hangs tough, stays in there. Pretty much exactly where he wanted to throw it. Still got a little piece of it.
And again, Hamels back to the plate. Got him swinging this time.
Didn't hit that one.
4th strikeout for Cole Hamels. Second time that he's gotten Santana. 1 out. Kurt Suzuki will be next. Pretty good execution right there. Well, Suzuki had an RBI double as he lofted one to left center field that Ian Desmond came within a whisker of making a diving catch. And Suzuki, as hot as he is, found a little bit of an opening out there and was able to plug it. Well, the average for Suzuki now at 291, 30 RBI for the year. Elvis waits for the big hop, throws out Suzuki, 2 gone. Well, folks, Southwest Airlines and Dallas Love Field invite you to celebrate 45 years of love. Go to southwest.com/RangersLove and enter for your chance to be one of the 10 fans who will win 45,000 rapid reward points. Now, 2 up, 2 away here for the Twins in the 4th inning, and here's Eddie Rosario to face Cole Hamels. Rosario grounded out to Elvis Andrus, his first time up there. Ball 1 a bit low. Rosario, a 2 for 6 night last night. Now Cole trying for his first 1-2-3 inning this evening. He had 2 innings now where He's retired the first 2 hitters in order and trying to put that 3rd one in the books. Ended up walking Max Kepler with 2 outs last frame. 2-1 the count here to Rosario. A little bit low, 3-1. Rosario batting in the number 9 slot. If he's able to extend this inning, take the Twins back to the top of the order from Eduardo Nunez. Soft fly ball to left. Mazara coming on a few steps, makes the catch, and there is a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels and the Rangers. We have gotten through 3.5. It's the Rangers 2 and the Twins 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Max Scherzer of the Nationals will replace Steven Strasburg, his teammate, on the National League All-Star roster. Nationals now have 5 representatives in the All-Star game. And the All-Star game final vote concluded this afternoon. Brandon Belt of the Giants and Michael Saunders of the Toronto Blue Jays will be the final All-Star honorees. First time for each of them. Congratulations to Brandon Belt and to Michael Saunders. Another good crowd on hand here tonight. Watching a 2-2 ball game unfold as Elvis Andrus will start things off. Andrus, Bobby Wilson, and Shin-Soo Choo here in the Ranger 4th. Kyle Gibson deals strike 1. Gibson with 64 pitches under his belt. Elvis struck out starting the 2nd inning tonight. Pretty good assortment of breaking ball changeup combinations for an off-speed pitch. And then that good sinker. Ball ripped right off the screen in front of the Twins dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Elvis in the last 23 ball games, and we're talking about almost a full month now, has been a .329 hitter. 2-2. Getting on base, scoring runs, 13 runs scored in those 23 games. 17 runs driven in. He's been an offensive force. Gibson back to the plate. It's lofted to the right and out of play. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. As you remember, had a season high 11-game hitting streak back in May. And that kind of settled right into the time the Rangers started really playing well offensively. Elvis right in the middle of that. And then, of course, his defense has made a huge difference for the Rangers this year. They are 5th in the American League as far as fielding percentage. Payoff pitch. Elvis spoils a pretty good fastball.
So Gibson came into the 4th inning with 63 pitches, and Elvis has already made him throw 7 pitches in this at bat. This will be 8.
You would think on a night like this would be a good strategy to make the pitcher throw a little extra. Warm night, temperature right now at 91, humidity inching up, and that's ball 4. So Elvis draws that leadoff walk, a well-earned free pass. For Gibson, his 3rd walk issue tonight. Paul Molitor keeping an eye on things. On Neil Allen, the pitching coach, making his notations about Gibson's performance. Here's Bobby Wilson. And we'll see if Jeff Bannister asked Bobby to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Rangers haven't used that a lot, but with Elvis on base in a 2-2 game, you might consider it here. And then you might not. Strike one.
No, he might have considered it. He just decided not to do it. But it could have been, I think it was a consideration. It was an alternative. It was a possibility.
Yeah. Bobby struck out first time that he faced Kyle Gibson tonight. Elvis inching off the bag, has a pretty good lead at first base. A pretty quick move. Gibson has very quick feet. A little short arm throw. He gets the ball to first base pretty quickly. Elvis this year, 12 out of 18 in the stolen base category. Not a great percentage for Elvis. Rangers as a team this year have stolen 52 in 71 tries. Meanwhile, Bobby Wilson stepping back into the batter's box. Gibson with the 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2. I think he caught Bobby looking for an off-speed pitch. He got a low fastball instead. Kind of flinched. Elvis at first after the leadoff walk. Bobby Wilson trying to at least advance it. Bobby had that single on Wednesday in Boston, snapped an 0 for 12 streak that he had been in. Gibson again ready. Crowd not particularly thrilled with the attention that Elvis is garnering from Kyle Gibson. Bobby Wilson again spoiling an off-speed pitch. Still 0-2. See the lead that Elvis has. That's right on the borderline of being his good lead to try and steal second. That move by Kyle Gibson crossed the line as far as the fans are concerned. That's enough. Throw the ball.
So now you're a pitcher and they're keeping a pitch count nowadays. Does a hard throw to first base compare to a pitch to the plate?
Half a pitch.
Half a pitch.
I don't know. Bobby rips one but pulls it foul. Yeah, I don't believe they keep tracks of those. Although, you know, I don't know why they do now. I know that Doug Brocail does keep track of the pitches used between innings to get loose. Yeah, keep track of those. Keep track of how many pitches it takes you to get loose in the bullpen before the game. Now, how heavily they weight those,
I guess with the attention to detail that teams have now with all the analytics, it makes sense to keep track of every possible variable.
May keep tabs of how many cups of Gatorade you drink, or Rangerade, I should say. Flexes that elbow pretty good.
Remember Rangerade?
I do. Yeah.
Ended up with a warehouse of it. Couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted it.
Another foul ball back. Should have had some more promotions. You could have gotten rid of that stuff.
So this will be Gibson's, I think, 15th pitch of the inning. And he's still facing his second hitter. Doesn't have anybody out. So both Elvis and Bobby really working him over.
That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And in seriousness too, you get to this point in this inning where he's already thrown, you know, coming into this inning, he'd already thrown 53 pitches, 63 pitches. You start adding on pitches now when it's, you've already had a pretty good workload. You can hit that wall pretty quickly. That's in the dirt. 2-2. Normally you think, well, if a guy gets up around 28 to 30, that's when you get in the danger area as far as making mistakes because of fatigue in that inning. But the deeper into the ball game you go, the fewer pitches it takes in 1 inning to get to that point. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Elvis at first. Gibson still paying a lot of attention to Elvis. He's on the move. Pitch is skied to right field. Kepler has a play. Elvis going back to first. Well, Gibson wins that battle. Bobby Wilson skies out. And back to the top of the Ranger order for Shin-Soo Choo.
Shin-Soo Choo.
Choo tonight has walked and struck out. He walked and scored in the first inning. Ryan Dozier, quick chat with Kyle Gibson. Choo overall a 259 mark. There goes Elvis. The pitch is high, and Suzuki can't find the handle. Elvis with his 13th stolen base.
Suzuki had a shot at him if he was able to grab the ball and throw it. Fortunately, he wasn't. Elvis gets his 13th stolen base of the year.
No, Rangers with a runner in scoring position once again. Just 1 out. Shin-Soo Choo with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Choo with 16 runs driven in. Trying to add on here. And ball 2 is high. Now you're getting up to that point where fatigue may be a factor for Kyle Gibson in this inning. Getting up to 19, almost 20 pitches. Warm night. Base hit to right center. Elvis had to hold up. He's going to be waved around third, though. The throw coming to the plate is cut off. Choo keeps on going, and he's in second base. Elvis scores. Rangers take a 3-2 lead.
Now a good aggressive base running by Choo. Took that extra base. Elvis had to hold up, but Spike waved him around anyway. The throw coming in from center field was a weak throw. The cutoff man was running toward first base when he fielded it. Had to throw back toward second. Wasn't able to get anything on the throw. And the Rangers replace the man at second base and score a run.
Nunez, the cutoff man, and just as you said, Tom, Nunez had to go toward first base and on the run try to throw back to second to get Chu. No, Chu now in scoring position for Ian Desmond. Ian 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and a ground ball to short. Well, the Rangers regain the lead. And they've got Chu in a pretty good spot with Desmond batting. Ball 2. And I think right now the Kyle Gibson, you see Ramirez out there in the bullpen. You see Kyle Gibson running out of gas rather rapidly in this frame. Up to 23 pitches so far. He has just 1 out. And now he's got to face the middle of the Ranger order and very carefully missed outside to Ian Desmond. 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, through 3 innings, he had 6 strikeouts and made a lot of good pitches, but the Rangers made him throw a lot of pitches as well. And sure looks like he's pretty much reached his final stages of this game. Going to be his 87th pitch.
The 3-0 to Desmond. Taking all the way, and it's the low outside corner. 3-1. And the way that Gibson has worked to Desmond, I'd be surprised if Ian kind of blocks off the inside part of the plate, takes it the other way. Paul Molitor, probably thinking the kind of hitter he was, probably thinking right along with Desmond. Well, he tried to. Stayed with that pitch nicely, but fouled it straight back. Runners in scoring position this year. Ian Desmond at 333 mark. 36 of his 54 RBI have come in these situations. Got Chu out there at second, stepping off that lead. The 3-2 pitch coming from Gibson. Adam Amari calling timeout. I'm sure you can hear him on our crowd mic. Desmond a 317 average overall. Now the payoff. We'll reset and try it again.
He's thrown 20. I think 26 pitches this inning.
Yep.
1 out. Like you say, Buzz, that's 26 pitches, but it's after 63 pitches in 3 innings.
Right. Yeah, and that's the key. You know, you can do 23 pitches in the first inning and not have it be a big deal.
Right.
To right center, that is going to be down for a base hit. Chu being waved around third. The throw coming in. Desmond keeps on going. Now he's going to have a race to get back. So no, I should say Dozier running him back to first and gets Desmond.
Boy, that's an athlete right there. They had 4 men trying to get him, but it took about 5 throws to do it. Fans love it.
Applause.
Generally, in the big league rundown, the runner just gives up after a couple throws. But Ian made that a game.
Well, Vargas had gone so far off the bag, Ian thought he could make it back no matter what. And that wasn't the case.
No one with the ball could catch him.
Yeah.
It took a throw every time.
Dozier finally had to give it up to Santana for the out. But Desmond gets the RBI. The Rangers take a 4-2 lead. Odor trying to bunt his way aboard. He has done that better than anybody in baseball, but not this time. Now the Rangers are gone in the 4th, but they get 2 runs on 2 hits, nobody left after 4. Rangers 4, Twins 2. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. Well, Cole Hamels and the Rangers back in the driver's seat in this one, 4-2 now. The Rangers put 2 on the board in the bottom of the 4th. Cole will see if he can build on a 1-2-3 inning that he had in the top of the 4th. Eduardo Nunez, Robbie Grossman, and Miguel Sano, first 3 Twins to step in against Hamels. Off speed, that is on the inside corner for strike 1. Nunez 1 for 2, had an infield single that drove in a run in the 2nd inning. Also flied out to center. That infield single, you remember, was with 2 outs. Kurt Suzuki at 3rd. Nunez tapped it right over the mound. Jurickson Profar, instead of going back to first base to receive a throw, went for the ball by mistake. And it turned into an infield RBI single. Now Nunez leads off the 5th with his 2nd hit of the night. That's the Twins' first hit since that Nunez single in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, that was the single that bounced behind the mound that Jurickson fielded out of position with no one to cover first. What would have been the last out of the inning and prevented a run from scoring.
I think Cole just picked Profar off too.
He had him picked off, yeah.
Jurickson was getting off the bag to receive a ground ball, and Profar said, "Uh-oh, my pitcher picked me off."
He wasn't even looking.
No,
he had looked in at the hitter.
Fortunately, he did look back to the pitcher.
Right at the end, he got it. Luckily, he got a glove on it. Otherwise, it would have gone down the right field line. So Jurickson's getting a couple lessons in playing first base tonight.
Grossman showing bunt, takes ball 1. Yeah, the finer points of the game. And Jeff Bannister said when Profar first went over there to play, he said, "Look, it's going to be a little rough at times." Said he's got enough athletic ability to make most of the plays, but where you're supposed to be on cutoffs, where you're supposed to go on ground balls in the middle of the diamond. Runner on the move, the throw to second by Wilson, not in time. Nunez swipes second.
Big jump by Nunez, but an excellent throw by Bobby Wilson to make a play out of it. Nunez has stolen his 21st base. He's 3rd in the American League. Got a good lead, good jump, and needed a good lead, a good jump in his speed because Bobby made a nice throw.
Odor keeping that tag applied the whole time. No, runner in scoring position. He's going to 3rd. Pitch is outside. The throw this time not in time. Well, Nunez on successive pitches swiped 2nd and 3rd. And both times Cole Hamels used a full leg lift, and Nunez took advantage. Ooh, boy, they might take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was on the bag all the way.
Exactly.
Obviously he's obviously there in time, but if he came off the bag for an instant, Adrian kept the tag on him.
They're going to take a look at this. Jeff Bannister out to challenge the play. Watch after the hand comes off the bag.
He's not on it now. He's not on it now.
There's the tag right there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't know if he
hard to overturn.
The front part of his arm wasn't on the bag, but his elbow to his shoulder area looked like it might have got the bag right at the end.
Well, the ruling on the field is safe, so it's going to have to be clear and convincing evidence displayed to the official back at the replay command center for the challenge to be effective.
Yeah, I don't think Nunez has the slightest idea if he was off the base or not.
Challenge tonight brought to you by Ford. You get another look from high overhead.
Off, coming back toward on. When was the tag made?
You know, there may be enough there to overturn it.
Yeah.
The body wasn't in contact with it.
You got the tag there in time.
Yeah. We'll find out. That's going to be a tough one. The Rangers do get this overturned. Credit Bobby Jones and company upstairs for catching a very close play.
Yeah, there's no way Tony Randazzo had any idea whether he came off the bag. He's in perfect position to make the call, but from the angle in front of the bag, you would have no idea if he was on or off the bag. You just know he was there plenty of time.
Yeah, that angle, if you put the two of them together, I think you can pretty well deduce that nothing was in contact with the bag when Adrian applied the tag.
Well, let's hope they see it that way.
Yeah.
Because that's a big call. Nobody out.
Right.
Either one out, nobody on, or nobody out and a man at third. Pretty big difference.
You know, Bill Miller, the crew chief, and the third base umpire, Tony Randazzo, who made the call with the headsets on, and they are now removing the headsets. See what it is. Safe at third. So I gotta believe that call stands on the evidence that we saw. Just could not overturn it. That was worth the challenge. '22nd stolen base for Eduardo Nunez.
Boy, the umpires could have made about 40,000 fans happy by making that call. I guess they didn't care about our fans. They're heartless.
2-1 pitch to Grossman. He chops it right off his foot. The call stood as called on the field, meaning there wasn't video evidence, clear and convincing video evidence to overturn it, and yet there wasn't clear and convincing evidence to uphold the call or confirm the call. Bill Cole now working to try and keep Nunez at third. Ranger infield playing back. Rangers have a 2-run lead. Well, they will, with that lead and with nobody out, they will play the infield back, giving up the run for and out. And Cole Hamels trying to get the strikeout or pop-up of Grossman. 3-2 the count. Now Grossman batting second. Miguel Sano, the designated hitter, will follow him in the order. Cole with a payoff pitch. Well, folks, this coming Sunday, the first 15,000 fans receive a bobblehead of all-star pitcher Cole Hamels. That's courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. That's your last chance, too, to see the Rangers before the all-star break. Visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS to purchase your tickets for Sunday afternoon's game, the Rangers and these Twins. Well, the walk puts runners at the corners. Nobody out. Miguel Sano coming up. And you got to be careful with Cole here because he's getting into that area. 97 pitches this evening, but he's starting to get his pitch count up in this inning.
As of yet, no one warming up in the bullpen, but you have to think someone's going to start warming up fairly quick.
Got some bodies moving around out there. 10 pitches this inning, but nobody out. Runners at first and third. Sano tonight has walked and flied to center field. Rangers on the infield shade him around to the left. Belted to left field, and that is going to put the Twins on top. Way out of here, Sano with his 14th home run of the year. He turns this ball game around. It's 5-4 Minnesota.
Well, it looked like he got a high changeup, and he wasn't fooled by it at all. He waited on it, got underneath it, and hit that high home run. We've seen him do it a number of times against the Rangers.
One of those ones that cut back to the inside part of the plate, down about thigh high. couldn't have walked up there and put it on a tee in a better spot for him. Sano kept it fair. So, Rangers now play from behind for the first time tonight. 5-4 Minnesota. And Dozier drives one into left center field, but Ian Desmond got a pretty good break on it. He captures that for out number 1.
Right fielder Max Kepler.
Desmond able to track that down. One away for Max Kepler. Kepler has walked and struck out in his 2 times up against Cole Hamels. Kepler, as we mentioned, 7 home runs this year, 3 of them against the Rangers. He's hit 2 3-run home runs. Last night he hit a 2-run home run. Chops that foul to even the count. Cole Hamels up to 101 pitches here in the 5th inning. Two balls and a strike. Now 3-1. Three and 2. Kepler in 5th in the order. Dennis Vargas will follow. Tony Barnett loosening in that Ranger bullpen. One out in the top of the 5th inning. 3-2 pitch. Lost him. Kepler walked for the 2nd straight time. And Doug Brocail is going to make a visit to the mound. Cole will get the opportunity to work through this 5th inning. Jeff Bannister would say, well, he's earned that right to try and get through this inning. But it's not going to be comfortable for him. He is at that stage in this ball game with the pitches in this inning where he's going to have to really bust it to get through the frame without any more damage being done. 4 1/3 tonight, 5 hits, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. And a lot of pitches under his belt, 105. Now he'll deal to Dennis Vargas, who has doubled and grounded to 3rd. Vargas in limited playing time, a 400 hitter. Vargas playing in his 4th game tonight. Has gone 4 for 10. Hamels with a 1-0 pitch.
Between Vargas and Sano, they've got a couple of big guys in their lineup. Boy,
Yep.
Big right-hand hitters with power.
And Vargas has the advantage of switch hitting, but Sano, well, they both fill up the batter's box no matter which one they're in. And that pitch a little bit low. It's 3-0. Well, Cole reaching down deep for all he's got in him right now. Barnett ready if needed. 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks with 1 out. And Jeff Bannister, a walk he didn't want to have to make. He is on his way out to the mound for the 2nd straight time against these Minnesota Twins. Cole Hamels not going to get out of the 5th inning. 109 pitches into the ball game tonight. Cole Hamels will be replaced by Tony Barnett. And Cole leaves with 2 runners on base, his responsibility. Barnett coming in for the bullpen. We will take a timeout. We're back to Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Rangers timeless moment for you. And back on this date in 2009, Andrew Jones hit a home run on each of his first 3 at-bats. The 12th player in Rangers history with 3 home runs in a game. That was out in Anaheim against the Angels. 7 years ago on this date, Andrew Jones for the Rangers. Well, Tony Barnett, the 32-year-old rookie, 35th appearance of the year. Tony is 5-3, 261 earned run average, 38 innings for him. League has hit 268 against Barnett. Danny Santana, with runners at first and second and 1 out, rips one. Profar, a diving stop, throws wide at second. And Elvis is going to get credit for the out. He kept a toenail on it. I think he's going to get credit for an out. Thought I saw him bring up his right hand.
I think they're waiting to see what the replay shows.
It looked like Brian Knight threw up his right fist.
Nice play by Profar, who throws quickly, thinking double play. I don't know.
Yeah. He did. He threw up his right hand. He called him out.
Yeah, he's just waiting out there for the replay.
Profar saying, didn't you call him out? Yeah, we did, but don't think that's going to stand here. No, we're waiting. Paul Molitor's waiting, and they're going to say, okay, that is an out. So they'll give the Rangers a second out of the inning.
Well, that's a nice play by Elvis to stay on the bag. Look at that, camera work.
Yeah,
wow.
That's great.
He was on the base with nothing to spare, boy. Wow.
So that puts runners at first and third with 2 outs now and brings up Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki has had a run-scoring double and grounded to short. 1 out of 2 tonight. Suzuki's double came with 1 out in the second inning. 289 average for the Twins catcher. Tony Barnett set and a check of the runners. 2-0. Last 26 ball games, Kurt Suzuki, one of the hottest hitters going, a 379 average, 20 RBIs in 26 games. 2-0 pitch to him. 2-1. Tony Barnett, the Anchorage, Alaska native, trying to prevent any further damage here in this 5th inning. 3-1. So Barnett falling behind to Suzuki. Suzuki, the 8th hitter, to be followed by Eddie Rosario. Twins leading 5-4. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. And that fills the count. So with 2 outs now, Santana at first will be off and moving with the pitch. Barnett checking his defense. Infield shading Suzuki a couple of steps around to the left. Barnett picks out a sign. He is ready to go. Payoff pitch. Odor gliding to his left. Has it on to first, and that will do it for the inning. But the Twins take the lead on Miguel Sano's 3-run home run. They strand 2. We're halfway through the ball game, and the Twins lead the Rangers 5-4.
Arlington, where Rangers trail the Twins 5-4 here in the bottom of the 5th. We've talked all night about this Rangers organization giving back to what is a grieving community right now. Well, giving back is what they do year-round. In fact, giving back to the game and youth has been their focal point. In fact, one of their current projects is Texas Rangers Youth Academy. It's opening next year at Mercy Street Sports Complex, state-of-the-art facility providing children across North Texas a place to play and learn. We are thrilled to report construction is moving along and several fields are expected to be completed by October. A lot of ways you can get involved and join the Rangers in supporting this project. You can just visit texasrangers.com/donate to do so today, fellas.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. Adrian Beltre starting things off for the Rangers, who are playing from behind for the first time tonight. Beltre, Fielder, and Profar, the first three to do the swinging against Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson walked a tightrope in the 4th inning, gave up a couple of runs. And now Beltre skies one to left center field. Rosario and Grossman. It is Robbie Grossman making the catch. Beltre is out before Prince Fielder steps in. Let's send it back over to Rick Renner for a Chevy game break. All right, Rick, thank you. Prince Fielder got fisted a little bit. One hopper out to Santana. And a one-pitch. Fielder is retired. Jurickson Profar is next.
Jurickson Profar.
It sure looked like Gibson at any point over the last couple innings was right on the verge of not being able to finish this game, but he got out of the 4th inning. Got an out on the bases, and then a quick one pitch out to Odor on a bunt. Was able to stay in the game, and now he's 1 out away from getting through the 5th inning in under 100 pitches.
You would imagine he had to do a little politicking to get sent back out there.
It sure looked like he was tired in the 4th.
Yep.
Maybe got his second win.
Jurickson Profar, 1 out of 2. Had a first inning single, struck out his last time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a chopper that is right over the bag. And a little flip from Vargas to Gibson covering. That'll do it. So the Rangers go quickly and quietly in the 5th. After 5 complete, it's the Twins 5, the Rangers 4 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Light Park. This was the scene before the game. The Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from the big city of College Station, Texas.
All right, 3, 2.
Aggies. That's right, because it's Texas A&M night. University University Days continue. Bill, from the Zone radio station in College Station, you guys had a good bus ride over. A lot of Ranger fans in College Station, huh?
Exactly. Did you notice when they introduced Von Miller and they started singing the Aggie War Hymn at the end?
Very nice. All right. Well, you're rooting on the Rangers tonight. Good to have you out here. You got one last Gig'em Rangers. What do we got going?
Gig'em Rangers. 1, 2, 3. Gig'em Rangers!
There we go. All right, guys. Good to have you here. Enjoy the rest of the game. Appreciate it, Buzz.
All right, Noxie, thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much.
The Twins coming to bat here in the top of the 6th inning. Eddie Rosario, the number 9 man, leading off. Tony Barnett with a 1-0 pitch to him. Good breaking ball, and that evens the count. Rosario this evening is grounded to short and fly to left. In case you missed it earlier, Rosario came off the bench in the 1st inning as Byron Buxton, the starting center fielder, had a collision out in left center going for Rougned Odor's triple. That's right back up the middle by Rosario. He has his first hit. The leadoff single starts the 6th inning.
Yeah, Rosario was fooled badly early in the count on a slow pitch, but he waited on that 77-mile-an-hour pitch and smoked it back through the middle.
Well, the Twins now have a half a dozen base hits. First one off of Tony Barnett. One on, nobody out, top of the order. Eduardo Nunez, who is 2 for 3, steps to the plate. Nunez now with the batting average, as you can see, up to .325. Rangers pretty much straight away defensively at every position. Odor and Andrews up a couple of steps at double play depth. Nunez trying to bunt it and bunts it foul. Nunez a spark plug for the Twins offense, hitting that leadoff spot. A spark plug with power. 11 home runs this year. Very, very good speed. 23 stolen bases. Now he has, or I should say 22, and 2 of them after reaching in the 5th inning. Bobby Wilson flashing the signs out to Tony Barnett. Barnett trying to keep Rosario as close as he can. Twins with pretty good team speed, even without Byron Buxton in there. Got some guys that are good base runners. Eduardo Nunez, foremost among them, but Rosario can swipe a bag for you every once in a while, too. 0-2 as Barnett hits the inside corner. Tony, a belt high set right off his right hip. The bunt is up in the air. Tony makes the catch, drops it, and home plate umpire Adam Amari immediately said now he was taking the ball out. It was a catch and then release when Barnett dropped the ball.
That would have worked out pretty well if he was able to drop that ball.
Left fielder Bobby Grossman.
But he definitely caught it.
Yeah. I still want to know what a guy that's hitting .325 is doing bunting with 2 strikes.
Yeah, well,
in your head by a run.
What's he doing bunting in the first place?
Well, I can see that, first pitch, you want to try to bunt for a base hit. That's great, but oh well. Grossman fouls that pitch with a pretty good jolt to Bobby Wilson. I'm convinced that between Bobby Wilson and Robinson Chirinos, they've got a ball magnet in that mask they wear. Each of them. Bobby's trying to figure out what zip code he's in right now. Here's Robbie. Nick Martinez, tomorrow's starter. 0-1 is the count to Grossman. Barnett taking his time, getting back on top to Robert. Now he has a sign. One ball, one strike. Grossman walked and scored in the 5th inning. Other than that, he has grounded to third and struck out the first 3 times as a right-handed batter. Yeah, with the right-hander Barnett in there, he flips around to the left side. There goes the runner, a pitch out. Rosario is out from here to Waxahachie.
The Rangers sniffed that one out. Had the pitch out and a nice strong throw from Bobby. Pick up a quick out. He was safe if the base was about 3 feet closer to first base.
No, base is empty, 2 away. The 2-1 pitch to Grossman is high and away. 3 balls and a strike. If Grossman extends this inning, Miguel Sano looming in that on-deck circle. 3-2. Tony Barnett came on in the 5th inning, to get the last 2 outs. We got Santana and Suzuki trying to work his way through the top of the 6th inning. Payoff pitch on the way. Raking ball to the back door. Knocked on it, and someone answered. Call strike 3. That'll do it for the Rangers. No runs, a hit, nobody left. 5-4 Twins after 5.5. Sonic Slam Inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is $200 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, James Watson from Fort Worth will win $200. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, James is going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, the Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the sixth. It is our Sonic Slam inning. Ryan Presley, the second straight night, has come on to take over for the Twins. Nomar Mazara leading off, and Presley misses low and outside for ball one. Ryan Presley, the workhorse of the Twins bullpen. This is his 44th appearance of the year. He's already worked 45 and a third innings. One ball, one strike on the Mazara foul chop. Nomar 0 for 2 tonight. He was grounded out both times that he came to the plate. Kyle Gibson found a way to get through 5 innings, and I wouldn't have given you 10 cents for his chances in the third inning that would happen. And then even less the next inning when he gave up a couple of runs. 1 and 2. But credit Kyle Gibson, found a way to get a 1-2-3 fifth inning on about 7 pitches from the Rangers. And put himself in line. If the Twins were to take this to the house, he would get the W. Presley's 1-2 pitch is coming to Mazara. Line drive to left. That's in for a base hit. Toward the line, Grossman over to cut it off. Mazara going for 2 as the ball gets by Grossman. And Mazara puts the brakes on. Well, the Rangers have the tying run in scoring position and nobody out here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Presley's got a great arm. That pitch was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And Nomar lined it right down the left field line. Hit it sharply.
Number 4 up there in the upper quadrant, upper outside quadrant of the strike zone. So, Rangers now 8 base hits tonight. Elvis Andrus 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. Strike 1. Elvis at least trying to get Mazara over to third. And of course, one of the strong suits of Elvis is hitting the ball the other way. Twins defense with Santana at short, shading in behind Mazara, the runner at second. Line drive to right field. That's fair and headed for extra bases. Mazara will score. Elvis is going to keep on going as the ball gets by Kepler. Into third goes Elvis. We have a tie ball game, and Andrus has another RBI. 6-6.
That's a beautiful hitting right there. He's trying to move the runner. He's trying to hit to right field, and he's got a strike on him already. And he ripped it down the line, and that's the second night in a row that Kepler had a little bit of a problem on a ball hit right down the line, caroming off the angle down there. That's a well-hit ball, and you see what the right fielder faces if he doesn't catch the ball before it gets to the wall.
Yeah, you're right, and that's where Kepler got all messed up.
Yeah,
got too close to that corner. And now Bobby Wilson driving one to deep right center field. Kepler is back at the wall and makes the catch.
Just missed it.
Tagging at third and trotting down the line to score is Elvis Andrus. And Bobby Wilson on a 380-foot sacrifice fly. The Rangers are back on top, 6-5.
I think that's what you'd call a fairly quick turn of events right there. Double, triple, sacrifice fly. I guess you got a triple on that. We'll give him a triple.
I think so, yeah. Fritz Decker, our stat know-it-all guy, says, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think Fritz is a know-it-all?
Yeah, he knows everything.
Well, he does know everything.
He doesn't express that.
But I wouldn't call him a know-it-all.
No, that's bad. That's bad terminology on my part.
He's a young man that just has a lot of information at his fingertips.
He does. He knows everything. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Takes a lot after his mother in that regard.
Probably a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, very good thing.
No, there's Fritz.
There's Fritz. Fortunately, he looks a lot like his mother, too.
Another good thing.
Very good thing, considering the alternative.
1 ball and 1 strike to Chew. Well, isn't it fun to jump on guys when they're not around?
That's what he gets for taking a day off. I expect to experience the same thing after the All-Star break.
Yep. No doubt.
Of course, he's not on the air, so there's not much he can do to me.
And I take back whatever I have to say about you in the future before I ever say it.
All right. There's been a lot of baseball jammed into 6 innings right here.
Yes,
6 to 5, 15 hits.
Jew up there has scored twice tonight. He's driven in a run. And he hits it hard to left field. Grossman going back. Reaches up as he crosses onto the track and hauls it in. That is a long out, number 2.
Yeah, how about the 2 outs in this inning? Bobby Wilson almost hit one into the Ranger bullpen. Kepler ran it down right in front of the sign. And Grossman runs this ball down right in front of the wall in left field. So 2 well-hit outs, a well-hit base hit, and a well-hit triple. I should say a well-hit double and a well-hit triple. I guess a double is a base hit, technically.
Yeah. Here's Desmond, 1 for 3.
Oh, no.
1 ball and no strikes. He an RBI single last time up. And they're the gentlemen on the bench who have scored the tying and go-ahead run. Elvis trying to tell Adrian exactly how I did it, and Adrian trying to tell me he really didn't care. He saw it.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. I saw what you did. He just ran Elvis off. Two balls and no strikes. Desmond hitting at .319 as Presley comes to him. Good fastball, and it's 2-1. Ryan Presley, the local product. Originally a 11th round draft pick by the Boston Red Sox back in 2007. Little inside and low. It's 3 balls and a strike. Desmond trying to reach. Rougned Odor will follow. Rogers, left-hander, getting ready in that Twins bullpen. 3-1 to Desmond. High foul pop that will reach the seats down the first base line. Full count. And always ready with a plan before he steps into that batter's box. Good idea, telling himself what he's going to do. Just barely gets a piece of that good breaking ball. Still 3-2.
Pretty good swing just to get a foul tip on that ball where that pitch was.
Throw a pitch like that 3-2, you don't think there's going to be contact.
No. You hope he swings at it, assuming he won't make any contact.
Presley a couple of shakeoffs, and now he's ready for another 3-2. That one was up a little bit. And still fouling it back. So the life of a relief pitcher, you come in one night, everything's great. You come in the next night, same opponent, same ballpark. Things don't go quite as well. Got him swinging. Went up with a fastball, and Presley gets the strikeout, but the Rangers get back on top. 2 runs on 2 hits, nobody left after 6. Rangers by 1. Tonight's Ford game summary. It's been a very offensive night. Rougned Odor got it started with an RBI triple off of Byron Buxton's glove. Odor would then score on a sacrifice fly. Miguel Sano, a big 3-run bomb off of Cole Hamels, got the Twins on top in that 5th inning. But back came the Rangers. Elvis Andrus, an RBI triple into the right field corner. Mazara scoring to tie the game, and Elvis would score on the sacrifice fly by Bobby Wilson. Well, the Rangers with a 6-5 advantage here in the top of the 7th inning. Sano starting things off against Tony Barnett. Sano 1 for 2 with that 3-run bomb. Couldn't pull the trigger on that pitch on the inside corner. Mitch Moreland. Nice to see Mitch back out there. He takes over defensively at first base for Jurickson Profar. Sano, a .237 average. Lays off that wide breaking ball, and it's 2-1. Sano's home run is 14th of the year. Barnett back to it. Tony got away with a hanger.
Got one to hit right there and missed it.
Looked like the cutter from Tony Barnett. And boy, it stayed center square. What's to know? Ooh. He was screaming mulligan from the time that ball went off the bat. 2-2 pitch. Full count now to Sano. He is leading off the Twins' 7th. Brian Dozier, the cleanup man, will follow. Barnett peering in for the sign. Picks out the one he wants. 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Cutter, and he went up with it again. One gone. Well, folks, it's 4 bobbleheads in 1. We'll tell you about that. Now head on out to the ballpark on Saturday, July 30th. The Rangers take on the world champion Kansas City Royals. Pick up this special collectible. First 15,000 fans 14 and older will receive a franchise 4 quad bobblehead. That's courtesy of Medical Center Arlington. Not along with Beltre, Pudge, Nolan, and Michael Young, and the Texas Rangers franchise 4. Get your tickets for Saturday, July 30th by logging on to TexasRangers.com. That's a pretty good license, Pudge, we just saw.
Yeah.
Dozier tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. Pops the pitch up. Moreland with room in front of the seats. Puts it away for out number 2.
Well, it's nice to have a pitcher like Tony Barnett. Tony can come in late in the ball game and pitch an inning, or he can come in a game like this and hopefully pitch 2 2/3 innings. Time of the game where you want someone to bridge the gap from the starter to the late inning guys. One more out to go. He's done a great job.
Yeah, nice to have a guy like Tony that has 4 pitches that he can work with.
Yeah,
he has more of a starter's repertoire.
Yep.
2 outs. Here's Max Kepler. 1 ball, no strikes. Kepler has walked twice tonight and struck out. 0 for 1 officially. No, Cole Hamels, who went the first 4 1/3 and was on the hook until the Rangers regained the lead. Out of play by Kepler. Kepler walked 2 of the 6 times that Cole Hamels issued a walk tonight. That's 6 is an extraordinarily high number for Cole Hamels. Cole back-to-back outings now against Minnesota. Just hasn't been able to put it together and make consistent quality pitches the way we have seen him. Kepler, right center field, kind of got it down toward the end of the bat. There's Chu, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. First time tonight the Twins have been set down in order, and Tony Barnett gets it done. We'll take the stretch with the Rangers leading the Twins 6-5. Now let's join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise and direct your attention now to the area behind home plate
and welcome Paul Rogers. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, Paul will now perform God Bless America.
Texas Rangers Hall of Fame luncheon will take place on Friday, July 29th. Join the Texas Rangers as we honor Michael Young for his induction into the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame. To reserve a table or purchase individual tickets for this special event, visit texasrangers.com/luncheon. The Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning, leading 6-5. And Taylor Rogers on now, the 25-year-old left-hander from Littleton, Colorado, takes over on the hill. And Rougned Odor leading things off, takes ball 1. Odor 2 for 3 tonight. Taylor Rogers appearing in his 23rd ball game. 3-0 with a .333. 24 and a third innings for the southpaw. 2 balls, no strikes to Odor. Odor had the RBI triple, scored a run in the first inning, singled in the third, and then tried to bunt his way aboard in the fourth. That was unsuccessful. And he plugs the gap in left center. That is down. It is going to the wall. Odor with extra bases again stops at second. A leadoff 2-bagger. Rougned just a home run shy of the cycle tonight.
Oh, Ruby's swinging it tonight. The only out he made, he bunted. Triple, single, double.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Up he comes right at him with a fastball out over the plate. In the gap.
You mentioned that bunt, Tom. Odor may be having second thoughts about why he did that.
Yeah.
Now that he's just a home run shy of the cycle.
That's right.
Well, he leads this 7th inning off with a 2-base hit. Here's Beltre. Adrian takes inside for ball 1. Adrian trying to at least get Odor over to third. Beltre 1 for 3, single to right field, back in the 3rd inning. Adrian with the average now at 278. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adrian was not looking back at Adam Hamari and saying, nice call. Trying to take that ball to the right side, fouls it away. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Rangers 6 runs on 10 hits tonight. Twins 5 runs on 6 hits. Both ball clubs have played error-free baseball. Got him swinging. Taylor Rogers pulling the string, gets Beltre on strikes. 1 away, and Prince Fielder coming up.
Designated hitter, Prince Fielder.
Fielder has had an RBI single, a walk, and a ground ball to short. Big breaking ball loops in for strike 1. Fielder facing Taylor Rogers, southpaw that was an 11th round pick by the Twins back in 2012. Came out of the University of Kentucky. One and one. Tall, thin left-hander, 6'3". He's listed at 170. Can't pitch on windy days. Gets blown off the mound. One and two. Outfield plays Fielder toward left center field. Rosario, the center fielder, over that way. A pretty big gap in right center. Got him swinging. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Back-to-back strikeouts for Taylor Rogers. 2 gone. Mitch Moreland coming up before Mitch steps in. Send it back over to Rick Renner for a Chevy game break. All right, Rick, thank you. Well, Taylor Rogers now will face Mitch Moreland. Mitch up the first time in 6 games. Left with that bad calf muscle. The throw gets away, and Odor is up and moving over to third. And Taylor Rogers threw a sinker to second base. And the shortstop, Santana, couldn't dig it out. The air goes to the pitcher. That's the first miscue of the ball game by either team. See if the Rangers can capitalize here with 2 outs. What that does too with the big breaking ball that Rogers has, it brings the potential for a wild pitch into play. Rangers would love to get an extra run. A little insurance on the board. They lead by 1. Mitch, 229 average, 11 home runs, 34 driven in. Pitch is wide for ball 1. Mitch came on as a pinch hitter against these Twins on Sunday afternoon and walked. 1-1 as the fastball nips the outside corner. Infield in the overship. Santana, Dozier, and Vargas all on the right side. Rougned coming down that line, and Taylor Rogers forced to step off very quickly. That got a rise out of the crowd. Over 40,000 on hand here again tonight. And Odor with, be careful, nobody down there.
Fans love it.
Yeah, they do. Professional cat and mouse game going on.
It's like hitting a home run to the fans.
You see where Nunez, the third baseman, is playing way off the line. He's got to be 30 feet, 35 feet off that line. So that gives Rougned Odor the freedom to come down as far as he wants to. And quite honestly, there's not much that Taylor Rogers can do about it.
Rougned's got to be careful he doesn't get farther toward home than Nunez is away from third.
Right.
And all of a sudden he breaks toward third and gets a throw.
Rougned backing off just a little bit now. 1-2. See that huge hole at the shortstop spot. If Rogers gives Mitch anything that he can hit that way, that's a pretty easy playing pepper with the shortstop spot to do it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Left-hander's ready. Got him swinging. No, after the leadoff double, Rogers ends up striking out the side. And we'll go to the 8th inning. It's the Rangers 6 and the Twins 5 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Buzz and Tom, time for the Progressive fan of the game. We got to give it to Marge, celebrating a big birthday tonight, but it wasn't all about her. She decided, Buzz and Tom, to bring her grandkids and great-grandkids to the game to treat them. She also got a big birthday present. What'd you get there? A Texas Ranger purse. She loves the Rangers a lot. You having a good time, Marge?
Oh, wow, what a way to celebrate a birthday.
There you go. All right, well, congratulations. There's a bag. You have fun with the family. You got 25-plus fans of your family members on hand. Great grandkids. Enjoy the rest of the night, Marge. Anything else you'd like to say? It's your birthday.
Hey, go Rangers. Come on, go Rangers. Go Rangers!
There we go. That's good. Congratulations, Marge.
Well, I'm not sure there's a topper for that one. We got to go back to baseball. I was transfixed.
You sound like you're speechless, Buzz.
Not very often you see 25 birthday celebrants say, go Rangers. Well, Matt Bush is coming to the game. See if he can celebrate a little bit. Taking over here, facing Kenny's Vargas. Vargas fouls the pitch off. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matt, 30-year-old, appearing in his 26th ball game. He has been used heavily by the Rangers, and he has done very well. A 2.59 ERA. The league hitting just 198 against him. Pitch just inside to Vargas. Vargas tonight has doubled and walked in 3 trips to the plate. 1 for 2. Rangers shade the big left-handed hitter in this case around to the right. Full count as Matt misses outside. Vargas leading off the 8th inning. He'll be followed by the shortstop, Danny Santana. Matt Bush with a payoff pitch. And a chopper foul. We will try it again. Matt Bush started the year at Double-A. We saw him a couple times in spring training, and very much a curiosity down there then. He lit up the radar gun and got everybody's attention very quickly. Rangers wanted to see him do it in the regular season. There's a broken bat looper to right field in the corner, and it's a fair ball. The bat is well into right. Hughes throw into second, not in time. And a leadoff double by Kennys Vargas. I'm not sure I've ever seen a ball go that far when the bat was busted in half.
Yeah, the bat went 30 feet out into right field. The ball went all the way down the right field line.
Wow. Shortstop Danny Santana.
They're trying to throw the ball on the outside corner. He got it on the inside corner. Jammed him, smashed his bat. Ball almost got to the wall.
Mitch trying to figure out where everything's going. So ends up a leadoff double, and the armor along with the handle of that bat going back to the dugout. Danny Santana 0 for 3 tonight. Foul ball makes it 0-1. Santana has struck out twice and grounded into a fielder's choice.
Beltre's playing in at third, anticipating a bunt, and Santana tried to slap the ball by him.
Moreland on the right side, as you can see, a step or so behind the bag now. Go to second, and Vargas back just ahead of the tag by Elvis. Pitch was called to strike. So Santana down in the hole, 0-2. Matt Bush trying to work around a leadoff double. It's a pop-up way up there. Looks like the wind's going to push that back and out of play. Crowd of 40,330 on hand tonight. Second excellent crowd of this series. Last night almost 44,000. Rangers and Twins leading up to the All-Star break. Curveball, 1-2. Elvis sneaking in behind Vargas, now backs up to his normal spot. Hard hit right at him. He's going to go to third, and they've got Vargas in the rundown. Beltre will make him move on back to the bag. Good job by Beltre, because that kept Santana at first. A huge mistake by Vargas, carrying the tying run to try and advance on that ground ball right at Elvis Andrus.
He got the leadoff double, but he's off the bases with that base running blunder. Elvis earlier in the game thought about the same play, but this time he had plenty of time to get Vargas. And as you should, run the guy back to the base he came from, keep the batter from taking second base, and he got the out.
So nice job by the left side of the Ranger infield. Elvis making the play to Adrian, and Beltre running down Vargas. Santana at first now, and Kurt Suzuki 1 for 3 this evening steps in. Cutter is low and outside for ball 1. Suzuki an RBI double in the second. Then he came around to score on Eduardo Nunez infield single. Bush a check of first. A ball and a strike. Matt Bush from San Diego. Signed originally as a shortstop. He was the #1 pick in the country by the Padres back in 2004. And at that time, he was rated the shortstop with the best arm of any of the prospects for that draft. Signed out of high school. And excuse me, check swing foul. It's 1-2. Suzuki a .288 average as he faces Bush. Tying run at first, 1 out here in the 8th inning. Beltre to second. Odor turns it on to Moreland. 5-4-3. And just like that, the leadoff double is a distant memory. So Matt Bush gets the around the horn twin killing. The Twins are gone in the 8th. Nobody left on after 7.5. Rangers lead at 6-5.
Park here in Arlington. Rangers leading the Twins 6-5 entering the bottom of the 8th. Rangers also looking for a win to even this series before tomorrow's game 3 of 4 with Minnesota. Reminder, it's a little later start tomorrow night. It is an 8:05 first pitch, which means it's a 7:30 Rangers Live to get you set for Nick Martinez's 5th start of the season. Nick needing his first win as a starter and hoping Rugi can power that offense behind him. Again, a reminder, it's an 8:05 game 3 tomorrow. Thanks to our friends at AT&T High-Speed Internet for helping us get ready, Buzz and Tom.
All right, Aaron, thank you. The Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning, looking for maybe some insurance. Nomar Mazara, Elvis Andrus, Bobby Wilson. The first 3 is Taylor Rogers. This is inside with ball 1. Mazara, a double in 3 trips. Nomar led off the 6th with a double into the left field corner. He scored the tying run that frame. Elvis Andrus drove him home with a triple, and then Elvis scored on Bobby Wilson's long sacrifice fly. The 1-1 pitch. Mazara with that base hit has the average at .284. Outside, 3-1. Rogers maybe a little unsure about that last call. Stared in a long time at Adam Hamari, but now has to make the 3-1 pitch. And he gets a strike there.
Lucky to get that one.
Nomar trying to get aboard to start this thing off. Elvis Andrus will follow. Payoff pitch. Looped into right field. Kepler makes the catch. That is out number 1. Rogers able to come back from being down in the count, and that's going to be the last hitter he faces. Paul Molitor making the walk out to the mound with a couple of right-handers. Andrus and Wilson due up. Molitor wants the right-hander to come in out of the bullpen. So Rogers able to go an inning and a third. Gives up a hit, but has 3 strikeouts. He will leave with nobody on base as his responsibility. Pitching change underway at Globe Life Park. Rangers on top 6-5. We'll be back with more right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you ever expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.tv for details. Well, Michael Tonkin, the big right-hander, tall, lanky right-hander, on now for his 38th appearance of the year. He inherits an empty base path and 1 out. Elvis, Bobby Wilson, the first 2 hitters he is asked to face. Elvis 1 for 2 tonight. And he blasts one high and deep to left, but he hooked it foul.
Elvis doesn't hit many balls like that.
No.
Turned on it and launched it way up in the air. He hit the ball well. His last time up, man on second, nobody out. Shot that ball down the right field line, trying to move the runner over by going the opposite way. Did a lot more than that.
Elvis saw Michael Tonkin last night in that 9th inning when he got the RBI single against him. Our AT&T high-speed internet replay, and Elvis shooting a ball the other way into the right field corner, drove home Mazzara with a tying run. And Elvis all the way to third with the RBI triple. That is pretty high speed. Swinging strike 3 as he can't get Tonkin this time. That's out number 2. Tonkin is the first hitter he faces. Now Bobby Wilson will step in. Bobby Wilson 0 for 2, but his sacrifice fly in the 6th inning. drove home the 6th run for the Rangers. And that is a difference in the ball game. He had Elvis III and nobody out in the 6th. Almost hit it into the Ranger bullpen in right center. He sent Max Kepler all the way back to the Snapple sign out there. Hauled in that long shot, but he got the RBI and a sac fly. It's a towering fly ball. Playable in left. Grossman coming on. Wynn pushing it in and toward the line. And that is going to do it. So the Rangers, against 2 pitchers, go down 1-2-3. 9th inning time. It's Sam Dyson time at Globe Life Park. Rangers up by 1.
Life Park at Arlington. Rangers in position to snap a 3-game losing streak to the Twins and get on a semi-roll before the All-Star break. On deck, we have Rangers Live presented by Frontier Communications. Got a great show. We're going to have plenty of post-game reaction. We'll hear from Jeff Bannister and all the stars in this one. Aaron Hardigan is working the clubhouse for interviews, plus Pudge and Mac, and maybe even Pudge will tell us what it's like to meet Von Miller on Aggie Night. Guys?
All right, Rick. 3 more outs to get this one in the win column. Speaking of win column, that was the late, great Mark Holtz's daughter and son-in-law, Cindy Gooster, and Jeff, her husband, to the right. Nice to see them out. Don't get out to as many ball games as they would like, according to Jeff. They just don't have as much time as they used to. Nice to see them out here tonight. No, Sam Dyson, 17 out of 19 in save opportunities. He is on for his 44th time this year, trying to lock down this Rangers 6-5 advantage. The first pitch to Eddie Rosario is at the knees for strike 1. Rosario 1 for 3 tonight, and a single leading off the 6th inning. Dyson back to him. Took something off. That's that power changeup. 1-1. Rangers 6 runs, 10 hits tonight. Twins 5 runs, 7 hits. They have committed the only error of the ball game. Rosario poking that foul. Finds himself down on the count now at a ball and 2 strikes. Last time we saw Sam Dyson in a ball game 3 nights ago in Boston. Picked up the save in that ball game. Rangers winning the middle game of that 3-game series. To left field, Mazzara had him played perfectly. With 3 steps to his left, and that is out number 1. So Dyson gets the first out, and that is important in the 9th inning. Get that leadoff man. Now back to the top of the order, Eduardo Nunez.
The Twins make it tough on you, boy. They've had a lot of base runners in these 5 games against the Rangers. A lot of guys that can run. A number of guys that can make solid contact. give you tough at bats. At least they have against the Rangers earlier in the year. They weren't giving many tough at bats to anybody. But they're either going through a nice streak or they're getting better.
Nunez takes strike one. I'd probably opt for the second one.
Yeah.
They're probably getting better.
Yeah.
This season's going on. I mean, we've seen them 5 games now, and I don't think it's an accident they've swung the bats the way they have against in all 5 games.
Yeah.
Nunez 2 for 4 tonight. Got the slider from Sam Dyson, fouls it off to make it 0-2. Looking down into the on-deck circle, a guy that you would not want to face with the tying run in scoring position. Joe Mauer swinging that bat for the Twins. There's Joe. 0-2 to Nunez. To right field. Chu. 2 gone. And if you're going to have to face Mauer in a 1-run game, this is the place to do it. 2 outs, and the worst he can do is tie the ball game and win it for the Twins. Joe Mauer steps in. 270, 7 home runs, 27 driven in. Rangers will play the outfield very deep. They will give up the single in front of him to prevent a double. A little bit low, according to Adam Amari, for ball 1. Ranger infield just about straight away. Elvis maybe a step up the middle. 1-0 pitch. And right there is Elvis. Comes up to him, throw to ball, and that is a winner. Sam Dyson with his 18th save of the year. The Rangers with a 6-5 victory here tonight, and it was hard-earned. They came from behind with 2 runs in the 6th inning after falling behind by a run against the Twins club that seemed to have their number. But for tonight, the Rangers able to come back and score 2 in the 6th to regain the lead. And the bullpen of Barnett, Bush, and Dyson closed it out. Tony Barnett gets the win in this one. He went 2 2/3 of shutout baseball, just 1 hit. Matt Bush, a shutout inning on 1 hit. And Sam Dyson, a perfect 9th inning for the save. So a nice win for the Rangers. Their 54th of the year. They are back to 20 games over 500. They are now 54 and 34. And this a new 88-game record in Ranger franchise history. The best record they have had after 88 games. So well done tonight. Rangers got it done with 10 base hits, some timely hitting, and continuing to play the good kind of baseball here at home that has been able to get them into the winner's column. Now let's go down to the field. Aaron Hardigan is standing by.
Yeah, you know, guys, I got Elvis. Jim's got Rugi over there, so we may be taking a night off from the ice bath. What do you think?
Martin is coming, so.
Oh no, we see.
Hopefully he got Rugi.
Oh no, we have a Martin sighting. He is going to get the ice bathers tonight. Which one first?
14 minutes. Tonight's total attendance 40,330.
Get the cleats off. We got to get the cleats off.
10 minutes.
So wait, hold up. Time out real quick. Hold on. Okay, you took that like a champ, by the way. But time out. Is he getting off the hook?
I don't think he's getting anything.
I think Rugi. Oh, okay.
Now we're talking.
He's getting Rugi.
He's getting Rugi now.
Elvis, a much-needed win tonight for so many different reasons, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Minnesota has been for all the toughest this year. You know, they're playing hard. They're playing good against us, but today it was, like you said, a most-needed win. So, you know, really glad that we got it. You know, Cole battled through the whole game. Both men did their job, and we were able to come back and win this game.
What changed? The offense came alive tonight. What changed?
I guess we need this win. No, I think that, it's been an amazing first half, and it's going to happen. We're going to lose some games. That's what I always tell when they ask me about if we were panicking or not. We're having a really amazing first half, and we're just going to continue to play hard every single day.
With the events that took place last night, this community needed this win tonight. How much were you playing for them here tonight?
A lot. That was sad, and it was sick when I saw that. But like I say, Dallas is too strong. Texas is too strong for that. We're gonna learn from that mistake. We're gonna get better and strong. And today it was, we're showing how much love we have for this town, for this city, and the Texas Rangers is strong. Same way as Dallas.
Hey, amen to that. Go dry off. Congrats on the win, Elvis, guys.
All right, Aaron, thanks very much. Well, the Rangers are strong tonight. They win at 6-5. We'll be back to Gold Park with more right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.